Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you're like me, you probably don't spend enough time organizing your tools. But if you're also like me, you get to a certain point where you can't live with the mess anymore. You've got tools that you need and you can't find them, you can't get to them, you can't access the stuff you need. So if that's you, stick around and let me show you an easy way that I've found to organize some garden tools. Alright everybody, so here's what I've got. This is my equipment all laid out. I've got hose, shovels, and rakes of various sorts. Lawn rakes and garden rakes. I don't know that I'm going to keep this little 4-prong. And I've got some post hole diggers, which again, we'll see what we can do about that. And same thing for my axe. It's just a crappy old axe I got from my dad, who got it from Home Depot. But that's everything laid out. What you have to keep in mind is where you're going to attach all of your materials. So my hose are going to hang right here on the neck, okay, because that's going to be the only thing that can support, the head's going to be the only thing that can support it. My shovels, it's going to be at the neck and the head as well, but there's a different connection point there. Okay, same thing for my rakes. Oops, get that out of there. Same thing for my rakes. I'm going to hang right there. Okay, so this is what I've got inside. I'm probably going to start everything along this back wall, and then if I need to, I can use something on this wall as well. Okay. I just realized as I'm going back and forth here. Sorry about the light and dark. It's just best I can do it. Alright, so there it is. Let's go take a look at the materials I've got. I'm trying to reuse everything as much as I can. So these are some old boards and stuff that I got out of a remodel that we did. Okay, so here's all you're going to need. I've got these two 2x4s that are left over from a demolition project we did here in the house. I actually went and picked these two up at my local hardware store. I went with 1/2-inch dowel, just simply because it doesn't need to be super strong, because nothing's carrying a lot of weight. And I went with the same reason I went with 5/16 by 5.5-inch bolts. I always buy my bolts a little bit too long, so they probably only needed to be about 4.5. But anyway, I like them long. So that's the equipment I'm going with. So here's what I did. Let me go ahead and tell you. I'll put the pictures up on the screen. I went ahead and laid everything out in my yard, and I've made use of technology. I put my tape measure out and I ran it under everything, or over it if I could, and I took pictures. And so that's going to give me my layout lines. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out everything on my 2x4s based upon my measure lines that I have these pictures of. All right, so that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them out. I'm going to drill my holes, and then we'll go put it up. Okay, so this is a trick I wanted to share with y'all. Anytime you have to drill through two of something, like for me, I'm using these 5/16 bolts to attach this on the inside to this on the outside, with essentially it's going to be my wall in between them. So I just drill in a 15/16 hole here. Easiest way to do it is you don't have to measure one and then measure the other. Just clamp them both together, measure once, and drill the hole all the way through. So I've got my hole on the back side there, and all I had to do was measure once. I measured down just any distance. This is 16, and then I got another one at 32 and 66 down there. Clamp them together. It cuts your work in half. Work smarter, not harder, and that's a prime example of that. Okay, so here's tip number 2. What I've done is I use my spade bit. This is a pretty common way that most people do it. They'll put the tape on there as their stop. So I drilled in, see if I can get this. I drilled in to the depth of my tape, but what that does is, if you see, that leaves me a little bit of wood there. That allows for a little more wood-to-wood surface contact whenever I'm gluing my dowels in. So it makes it a little bit stronger, even though I'm using my 1/2-inch dowels. But the second thing it does is I stopped right before I come through, and I just put a tiny little drill bit on. I think this is, I don't know, 5/64 or something. Come on, focus. But whatever it is, I put it on. It's much smaller than the screws I'm going to use, and I just went ahead and came through. It's so easy to find the back of where this stepped spade bit is. It's easy to find that point right there. So I just take it, I drill through. That way, whenever I'm drilling through on the other side, it's easy to find where I need to put my screws. Okay, so I will get my dowels cut. I will finish drilling the backs of these, cut my dowels, glue everything up, and then I'm going to put just a carpentry screw in the back side of these just to strengthen it just a little bit more.